It is our virtual happy hour presented by Bud Light Seltzer, and this is what's on tap as our Washington football insider, Zach Selby, joins me. Zach, look, we talk so much about Terry McLaurin. We know about
Yeah.
Steven Sims Jr. and how he's supposed to step into a role. John Trell Inman brought in here as a veteran, supposed to have a role and get this team going as well. But there's a lot of wide receivers on this depth chart right now
Yeah.
that maybe we're sleeping on a little bit. Take us through who you think is sleeper number one.
Yeah, these are the guys I'm telling you I'm shaking you and telling you to don't sleep on these guys. And the first guy is Cam Sims. Now, Cam has been on this roster since 2018, and he's had a couple of quiet seasons since then, but he's been doing some good things in camp so far this year. He's been making a lot of good catches. He's been working with the twos and occasionally even with the ones with Dwayne Haskins. Now, at 6'5" and 215 pounds, Cam's a big guy. And that's a guy that Ron Rivera loves because one, they're able to do things in the blocking game, and on top of that, they're friendly targets for quarterbacks. And he has that Alabama pedigree. I'm not saying he's Julio Jones or anything, but he definitely has that talent because to be able to be at the top tier of college football. So he's been making some good things happen this year in camp. So watch out for him.
Yeah, he came out a little late last season. He's been dealing with a lot of different injuries that I think have held
Yeah.
him back. But every time we have training camp, I feel like for the past few seasons, we're like, you got to pay attention to him. He's tall,
Yep.
he's physical, he's hungry. And yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, look, if I'm going to give props to an Alabama guy, you can't be sleeping on him.
Exactly.
So Cam, once again, you saw that amazing catch that he just here today at practice as well.
Oh,
He
yeah.
can go up and
Gorgeous.
get that. Next up on your list, though.
Yeah, the next guys we're going to go with an undrafted guy, Jonathan Johnson out of Missouri. Quick update on his Missouri stats. He was sixth in school history in receiving yards and eighth in career receptions. That tells me he knows how to get open and what to do when he gets the ball in his hands. Now, he's been that third slot receiver behind Steven Sims and Trey Quinn, but he's also been doing some really good things as well. I mean, he's been kind of one of those underrated guys that you see a lot of good passes towards him, a lot of good routes. He's making some catches. And, he's really what you're looking for out of a slot receiver. And plus, he's about the same size, weirdly enough, as Steven Sims. Steven Sims is 5'10", 176 pounds. And, well, Jonathan Johnson is 5'10", 180 pounds. So he's exactly what you're looking for, not just from a size perspective, but also from a production perspective as well.
All right, and if we're to keep going through your list, you have a number three guy.
Yeah, we're going to go with the other undrafted wide receiver here, Isaiah Wright. This is another guy who had a pretty successful career at Temple in his college days, and he had 2,100 yards from scrimmage, and he's honestly been all over the place. I've seen him line up in slot. I've seen him line up in a little bit outside sometimes as well. He's been working with Dwayne. He's been working with Kyle Allen and Steven Montez, and occasionally a little bit of Alex Smith as well. And he's a guy that I could also see him participating in special teams as well. When we've seen them out there catching punts, it's been Steven Sims, Trey Quinn, and Isaiah Wright out there. They've been rotating in, doing those roles. And, on top of that, the Washington finds a way to somehow find these hidden gems out there at wide receiver. I mean, Steven Sims was an undrafted guy himself last year, and then Trey Quinn was the last draft pick of the year in 2018. So you don't really know what to expect out of those younger guys, the undrafted later round guys. But Isaiah Wright has proven that he can do some things in this offense, and just watch out for these guys. All three of these guys. Take off your blinders, take off your nightcaps, and pay attention to Jonathan Johnson, Cam Sims, and Isaiah Wright, because at least one of them has a good shot to make this roster.
All right, so well then right there, you team me up for it. If you're going to say one of these guys does end up making the 53-man roster, who is it?
That's a tough one, but I would have to say, Cam Sims, I think, has just wowed me in a lot of different ways. You mentioned that play that he had today, but that's only honestly one of the only, probably I guess you would say he's done a lot of good things. That's not the only play that he's had. I mean, that jump that he had was spectacular to get to the end zone, but it's been a routine thing for him pretty much since we started watching practice. So he's my guy that I'm looking at. But Jonathan Johnson and Isaiah Wright, again, both guys are still in that competition. Still, Cam Sims, I like him a lot.
Well, Jim Hostler, the wide receivers coach, has his work cut out for him because, again, it's pretty much clear that you have Terry McLaurin, but then he has to figure out who fits in beyond that. And one of the things that
Yeah.
you have to be able to do in Scott Turner's system is you can't just play one position. You can't just play the slot
You
and
have
just
to do it all.
outside. You have to be versatile. And of course, with these guys, when you talk about their positioning and making the team, it's going to be who can really have the impact on special teams as well and who can contribute there. So it's
Right.
another look, this is probably one of the biggest question marks going in there. There's a
Yeah.
lot of question marks,
Yeah.
but at wide receiver, we're just not sure how it's going to fold out. So thank you very much, Zach, for your sleepers at wide receiver.